Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Hello. I am just going to go ahead and mute everybody just to kind of preserve the integrity of the recording. I'm going to wait and see if we're going to have a couple more people jump on. How's everybody doing? Feel free to use the chat box, which I'm going to open up here. And make sure I have that open. There we go. Cool. I'm just going to give it a second here. So I'm so excited to start this class. I'm very glad that you are all here. Can you guys all hear me okay? Okay, great. Excellente. So this is, woke up feeling very positive vibes. I love it. Send them this way, please, to California. We are going to have video and audio recordings of this class. That way you guys can pick and choose what works best for you in terms of, listening to the replays. Real quick, how these classes are going to go. So we are meeting for 9 weeks. I did put the descriptions of each module in the announcements section of our Facebook group. I don't know why Facebook does this to me, but whenever I start a group, it gives me 2 groups. So I archived the one that we're not using. That doesn't even have a picture on it of the group. So don't be in that one. And I will make sure to tag you all when I put the replays in the units section of our Facebook group. So this is going to have all your supplemental material that I'm going to be supplying you guys with for each module that we do. You'll have your video and audio replays in there. Any PDFs that I need to share, they're going to be in there too. There will be a PDF for today. So I encourage you to take notes, but this is also going to be in a very comprehensive PDF for you in the file section after we're done, or in the unit section, I should say, in our Facebook group after we're done. There is going to be time for Q&A after every class. So I will do that as a separate recording. So we'll have a recording for the class, then I'll stop recording, and then we'll have a separate Q&A. And then I will compile those for each module. Sometimes people, when we do this work, sometimes people bring up some pretty private stuff because the way I teach this stuff or share it later on, it feels like a little bit of a privacy thing for some people to not want to put all their stuff on Front Street. For anybody who watches the replays or does the self-study course later on, I totally get that. So those Q&As will be separate, and they're just for us in this particular round of this class. I'm also going to be creating another platform to put this on. I'm just going to say it, the Facebook platform, who knows what's going to happen with that. It's such a great tool for me, but there's so much happening in Facebook land that is not very woke. There's a lot of censorship happening. I've been censored. A lot of my good friends have been censored. I don't feel that it is a platform that is as fun and loosey-goosey as it used to be. So that being said, I'm a Capricorn. I like backup plans. I like plan Bs. So I'm going to have this in my member vault forum, and I'll be putting that together this week, and I will direct you guys there when that is all up and running. So the way the class is going to work is there's going to be discussion. We're going to talk about the subject matter of each module. Then you're going to be given DNA encodements. I'm going to tell you what DNA encodements are. They are an augment to what you've already received. All of you in here have had DNA activation with me. So you know what that's like. You know how comprehensive that is. However, this is something that brings up the energy of the particular module that we're talking about and allows you to integrate the information that we've brought in or brought into your field in a certain way where it kind of unlocks DNA coding for you to receive it optimally. I'll explain DNA encodements a little bit more right before I send them to you. And it's going to be weird because they're just number sequences. So at first blush, it's like, what is this? It's kind of like when you had a high school locker and you unlocked your combination code. That's kind of what it is. When I first started receiving them, I was like, okay, these are just numbers, but everything in the universe is math. So when I sat with this, and I sat with my guides, because they're like, you're trying to intellectualize this too much. Their number sequences, they unlock certain encodements that are already part of your divine DNA blueprint, and they allow what's already coded within you as instruction sets for behaving, believing, thinking, doing, creating miracles, or what we would call miracles. It's all in our DNA, but we just haven't really unlocked it yet. So that's what these DNA encodements do, and they're awesome. And you'll be given those number sequences. They will also be given in each unit section for the course. And then we'll do the talk, we'll do the DNA encodements, and then there'll be time for Q&A. That will be every class. I'm going to try to get this in an hour. Brevity is not my thing when I start talking about this stuff. It's really hard to encapsulate the bigness of all of this into an hour, but I will do my best. If you need to sign off, that is okay. You have access to the replays. The next class, which is Universal Laws, that's going to be an hour and a half. So strap into that one. And if you can't make that, that's okay. You'll have the replay, and you can take your time, listen to it, and take it in as you want to. You're going to want to listen to that one again anyway, because the universal laws are a kind of a big foundational pivot for being able to fully integrate this material anyway. Let's see. I want to make sure everybody is knitted into the group. Okay. Hello, everyone new that's joining. Hello, Chris, Crystal, Elizabeth, Mary, Vudri, hello. Hello, everyone. Thanking you all for being here. This is so wonderful. So let's jump right into it, shall we? So this particular module, this is about the physicality of being able to physically embody the process of ascension. And that's okay. You're not late. You're right on time. Your body is the ultimate filter for anything you do in this reality realm. Would you agree? How can you have any experience without the physical body? Your emotions are your triggers, your behaviors, the mental matter, it is all encapsulated within a physical form. What is really unique about this process of ascension? What is happening now? This is happening now, by the way. We are going through the stations of awareness of ascension. It's not a singular event, as a lot of people would believe. It is a process that is ongoing. It is infinite. Ascension is infinite. It does not stop. It is not finite. Okay. But what is interesting about this process of ascension, and particularly this time around, because we've had other groups on this planet who have ascended before. We are taking our physical bodies with us. What does that mean? That means that we are inviting the body to go through these different stages of ascension, to bring us through it, literally, to be the filter for bringing us through it. But it is going to shift. It's going to change. We are in a carbon-based matrix of the body. The biological framework of the body, the bioenergetic, is a carbon-based framework. We are shifting to a pre-silicate matrix and then a silicate matrix, otherwise known as a light body. This is taking place over time. So the first step to really being able to understand how we can help our body assimilate this process in the highest and best way, and in the most integrity, is to understand what the body needs as fuel to go through this process. Okay. So I have put together a very comprehensive PDF that I don't know if I can share it with you guys here, but it is going to be in the group. So you'll be able to find that in the group. I'm going to be reading off of this PDF that I created for you during this class, but you will have access to that full document for your own records. I don't expect you to adhere to everything that I'm talking about, okay? There is a lot that is talked about in terms of physically assisting the body to move into the ascension process with integrity. To do all of it would make you almost superhuman, okay? I get that. We all have lives to lead, we have budgets, we have a family that, if we're going to start having micronutrient dense meals every day, and you suddenly put that on the table for your family to eat, and they're like, what the heck is this? There's going to be some problems right off the bat. I understand there's a practicality here. But what I invite you to do is take what resonates most as these changes. I invite you at the beginning of every class, before we even sit down and start here with each other, to connect with your higher self, to connect with your spirit team, whoever you like to work with that you download information from or you communicate with that is part of your galactic teamwork, your galactic team, I should say, invite them in, okay? Invite that part of you, that physical part of you that holds a space of truth. And I will share a video that I made that talks about your place of truth and your place of falsehood. That when you get an intuitive hit about something that doesn't sit right with me, or you get an intuitive hit about something that does sit right with you, where are those places in your body? Get familiar with that. Because the more and more we go through these modules, those places are going to come up a lot. Not everything I'm going to say in here is going to resonate with you. That's okay. That's okay. You're all adults. Like anything in life, you take what resonates with you and you leave the rest. That doesn't mean it may not come into your awareness in some way, shape, or form later on down the road. It may make sense to you then. But what resonates in truth for you most now? That is what matters. That is only and ever what matters, really. Okay, because there's only now. Don't worry about what happens later. What am I saying in here that sits with you in a place that like, okay, that's what I need to do. That's what I invite you to think about when I'm talking about these nutritional and supplemental changes that you might want to make in your life right now. What does it feel like? Okay, I'm going to go out and get this stuff now, or I'm going to order this stuff on Amazon, or I'm going to start trickling this into, my family's meals more and more. That's the stuff that matters the most. And then over time, you can always add more in, okay? Because that's how this stuff works. Because once you start feeling the benefits of making these nutritional and supplemental changes, you'll be like, I want more of that. Trust me. Okay. So we're going to get into it. Little introduction. I'll be doing an introduction to every course module that basically centers around this idea. Why is this work important? Why is this program important? Well, I mentioned that we are going through the structural changes of a new planet. Arguably, we have found ourselves in a very auspicious time on planet Earth. Business as usual ain't working anymore, okay? These are structural paradigm changes, belief changes, system changes that are long overdue, and they're starting to happen. It's going to be a shaky and bumpy ride while that happens. But this, folks, is what ascension is. This is what spiritual awakening is. This stuff goes hand in hand. This is not, pretty light unicorn rainbows and stuff like that. It can be. But as a rule, that's not the case all the time. We're exploring the evolution of a lot of different layers of shadow that have brought humanity to where it is and to the relationship that we are with planet Earth. Hasn't all been good. It's benefited the few rather than the many. We've seen that. We've seen that play out on the reality stage of planet Earth over thousands of years now, okay? This ascension process is inviting us to take a different viewpoint about what's possible for humanity. You can focus on all the things going wrong in the world. You can definitely be angry and have blame and resentment and feel a sense of righteous indignation about, well, you know what? I know that there's something better for humanity. I've tried to treat people better. I don't see everyone else on the planet doing that. Okay. These are all things that are coming up for review and investigation because we are in this major timeline split between business as usual, the way things used to be, and where we are going as a human family. This is shifting. This is changing. And very, very rapidly. We are on a very accelerated rate. And as we experience these changes, the needs of our body are going to change. The needs of this planet are going to change. Those things go hand in hand, folks. We have such an intimate connection with Mother Earth, and we'll talk about that here in today's class, that we can't deny it anymore. And we look at the things that are playing out on the Earth stage right now, climate change, these disasters that are happening all over the world in terms of great famine, desertification, which, California is on a rapid timeline for that right now. The whole Pacific Northwest is being ravaged by wildfires. We have sickness. We have pandemics. Okay. This is all part of the contribution that we've made over time to a complete disconnect for our planetary home. On an individual level, we may not have contributed to that as greatly as maybe other people or other groups have. But lo and behold, here we are. But do not despair, because it ain't over yet. And we are shifting and we are changing. And this class, even though there are only 10 of you in here, I want you to think about something very important here. When we stay in our own lane, meaning we are concerned with our own energetic vibration and frequency and connection to the entire human family, to the entire tapestry of the all that is, source consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it, this connection to this planet. When we maintain integrity with what we do, with what we think, with what we feel, detach ourselves from lower vibration thought forms that aren't serving ourselves and certainly aren't serving the planet or the highest good of all, when we detach from participating in certain paradigms, belief structures that have kept humanity in limitation, scarcity, and lack for so long, and we start believing in that abundance template, every single one of you that has had DNA activation with me, I have talked about, the Metatronic reversal or the shadow body, and how the planet and the family has been living from the shadow body of self, or this reversal body where we are running a template of creation from scarcity and lack, which is completely false. But that has been our reality. That has been our belief system. We've created our entire reality, identity, personality around this template of scarcity and lack. It is not real. It is an illusion. But to the degree that we've been collectively participating in that, that is the reality that plays out on the earth stage. But when we choose on an individual level to stop participating in that reversal or shadow body and start believing in that abundance template, which is our divine birthright and blueprint of being that is written into our DNA code as divine beings. Yes. I've talked about this with every single one of you in here has had DNA activation with me. When we stay in our lane and start living from that, creating from that, believing from that creation template, and acting, behaving in accordance with it in our everyday lives, we start to create a ripple effect. So you precious 10 members in here, actually 9, because I'm one of you, but I'm a member too. The more you commit to doing this work in integrity, the more you act it out in the earth plane, bringing your thought forms that are enlivened and enlightened to life in terms of the actions that you take based on these new beliefs and thought forms. The energetic frequency and ripple effect of that goes out a lot further, a lot faster than you can possibly imagine. Your energy is incredibly precious. And oftentimes, especially in the world today and on a daily basis, we may be asking, how can I make a difference? How can I possibly fight what's going on? The idea is not to fight, folks. The idea is to surround all the darkness with so much light that it has no other recourse other than to succumb to the light. And I'm not talking about being a Pollyanna. I'm not talking about toxic positivity. I'm talking about in every moment you have a choice on what you want to believe, think, feel, and do. That is your power. And when those things are in alignment with a higher and greater good for all that is, we have the power to create a momentum and a tipping point of mass consciousness that moves us to where we can go as a human family that benefits the most instead of the few. That's how we turn the paradigm upside down. So I invite you to think from the heart and the head as you integrate this material, as you process this material. Why this is so important is because we are at this tipping point of mass consciousness. We are being given an invitation from those who have been the watchers of this planet for a long time. It is a group of many, many interstellar, outer stellar, unembodied, disembodied beings, entities, etc., who would like to see this planet steer towards its highest integrity and its planetary blueprint for highest and best way of being. But we have free will choice here. You know, they cannot, let's just say they can put certain things there that it makes us feel like, oh, I have an idea or an epiphany, a revelation in my head. They can kind of steer us towards certain things like that, guide us or navigate us towards certain levels of higher spiritual truth that can bring us to this place of reckoning, where we leave this diminished past behind. But they cannot create situations that, you know, suddenly all the wildfires are gone, or suddenly everyone on this planet is awake and wanting to do good. That has never been their plan. That has never been part of what they are able to do. It's a very hands-off type of energy, except when we've been on the brink of annihilation. They can swoop in and shut things down so bad things don't happen. But largely, we are in charge of our destiny here. Okay. Think of ascension as a grand experiment. And all of the cosmos is watching to see what we do next. And we all have the power to dictate what that will be. That's powerful stuff. And what this program is designed to do is to help give you the tools to start practically applying this new way of being and laying the groundwork, laying the bridge work to be able to start walking this path to a higher destiny. Okay? I want to make this stuff as practical and easy as possible. The information that I get, I try to be a scribe and make this stuff as easily translatable as possible and make it practical, usable in everyday, daily life stuff. If it is not, please tell me, and I will help you break it down to where it lands with you and you can understand it. Because if you don't find a way to practically apply this stuff or make it useful in your life, what good is it? This is all just academic. It's all just interesting. Okay. Which I hope it is interesting. But if you can't practically apply it, what good is it? What are we doing here then? We're just dicking around, pardon my French. So if it is not at any point easily accessible for you, if you don't understand it, please let me know. I take no offense when you say, Kathryn, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's fine. Okay, fair enough. We all agree with that? No question is stupid. No question is out of line. You know, we want to be respectful in here, obviously, but if something doesn't make sense for you, please don't be afraid about speaking up and saying, you know what, I don't get this at all. I'm here to help you with that. Okay. All right. So here we go. So module 1, station 1, the body as a temple, becoming the highest expression of God essence incarnate. Okay. When we were given a biological template, meaning our spirit bodies, our spirit avatars, made an agreement to come down and be part of the physical realm of the 3D reality, we had what is called a tree of life or biological template that has 12 points of energy, and it is supposed to run a clockwise current of energy. This is our abundance template, okay? But because of seals, implants, certain artificial machinery in the false ascension matrix that has messed up put a monkey wrench in the works, in other words, we tend to run from a reversal or shadow body network of energies, okay? This is an artificial tree of life template, which is a countering of those energies, a reversal current of those energies that allows us to run a creation template from a belief, a way of being, lower thought forms that are based in scarcity and lack, okay? But our true God essence incarnate, meaning the way we were supposed to be, running biological processes in integrity, was supposed to be in alignment with a master cell, okay? The master cell is literally God, Goddess, Mother, Father, God, essence incarnate, translated into a biological form, which we would consider as matter, okay? And it's basically vibrations that are slowed down to mimic the sense of something solid. But we are all just frequency and light. We are vibration, okay? We are in constant motion and movement. And when we are in integrity with this master cell, we are running the God essence template. where we are running from an abundance template. Okay. In order to build the bridge back to that, we're going to have to make some physical changes in the body so that the body is running on pure and clean fuel instead of dead food, which is what we're consuming, and we're thinking of it as food. Food that's microwaved is dead. Food that is processed is dead. Okay. Live, fresh food is incredibly important. But there are some really important things to understand about nutrition for ascension and becoming the highest expression of God essence incarnate that'll help you catalyze that shift from moving to a carbon-based mechanism to a silicate light body matrix. Okay. So in this time of ascension, yes, we're experiencing a very interesting paradox with our nutritional needs. So on the one hand, we're feeling a bit off our game because of ascension symptoms. You know, as we are processing more and more light frequencies coming to this planet, it causes disruptions and distortions in the physical body if we are holding too much density in the physical body. If we're holding too much density in the physical body, this is usually because we're not running on clean fuel, we're running on fumes. So to the degree that you experience very accelerated ascension symptoms, there are things that you are feeding your body, and yes, that can be emotions and thought forms as well as food. You know, emotions and thought forms are nourishment too, or they cannot be, or they can be poison as opposed to nourishment, depending on what you're bringing in. But in terms of food, if you are bringing in nourishment with rich ingredients, micronutrients balanced with macronutrients, okay? If you're eating fresh fruits and vegetables, leafy greens that are organic, grown in fresh soils that have been uncompromised by pesticides and over farming, that are not leached of nutrients and trace minerals. If you are drinking fresh, pure, filtered water that is pH balance 7 or 7.5, you are giving yourself, you're giving your body what it needs to process all of these incoming light frequencies hitting the planet that are raising our consciousness up. Okay. So we're feeling a little bit off our game because of ascension symptoms that can make us feel out of alignment with our natural state of good health and well-being. This makes us crave comfort food, low vibration processed foods, again, dead food, foods heavily laden with sauces and rich ingredients. Oftentimes when we are reaching for things like that, we are either living a lifestyle where we don't give ourselves enough time to make nutritionally complete meals and plan ahead. We are eating from an emotional state where we feel deprived of something emotionally, so we'll reach for something that gives us comfort. So this is an invitation for us to be very in control of our emotional state in terms of, if you are reaching for something that is compromising your nutrition, where are you feeling you are compromised somewhere in how you're being nourished as an individual? Where is there an emotional depletion first? We know enough about nutrition and what our bodies need at this point, and especially at this point in our lives. You know, no one in this class is 18 years old. You know, we've all been around the block a few times. We all know what it means to eat certain foods that don't sit well with us. What makes us reach for those things again? When we know it has a certain outcome. Okay. Usually there's an emotional, deeper layer of that needs to be sussed out so that we can move to and shift to reaching for higher quality, more nutritionally dense foods that are fuel for our bodies rather than just something to make us feel better momentarily. Okay. So having a distorted emotional state and emotional imbalance within is going to make us crave comfort food, low vibration processed food, foods heavily laden with sauces, rich ingredients. And while they may be momentarily satisfying, they dull our senses. They lower our awareness. They make us sluggish, take us further out of alignment with who we are in terms of how we were created from the master cell to be divine God and God essence incarnate. Comfort food also allows us to form an energetic buffer, okay? Meaning if we're holding extra weight, we keep reaching for those comfort foods, heavy foods, you know, not nutrient dense foods, but are filling because of the processed ingredients, which actually really mess with our hormonal states, can increase cortisol levels in the body, help us to hold body fat, make us have a sluggish metabolism. All those things create an energetic buffer for us to keep unfamiliar energies out. So that is playing out on an unconscious level in you as well. When it feels like, I don't like these ascension energies, and you're not consciously creating that connection of, I feel uncomfortable with these higher light quotients coming in, or I feel uncomfortable with all these changes happening. What we'll often do on an unconscious level is eat to the point where we form an energetic buffer, literally extra weight. So it forms like a protection zone around us, okay? Some of the very high light vibrations that are filtering into our awareness may seem uncomfortable and unsafe for us to assimilate. So we often use comfort food to build up this energetic buffer to make us feel safe, okay? So you may want to try to pinpoint anywhere you might be doing that, okay? Look at what's in your larder at home. Look what's in your refrigerator at home. Are those things nutrient dense, or are they dead food? What is most necessary for our bodies is not just food, but fuel, okay? In order for our physical bodies to assimilate and utilize these high light transmissions flooding our awareness now, we need to fuel and nourish the cells of the body as they are becoming more crystalline in form. The human body was designed to evolve and thrive consuming fresh foods grown in uncompromised soils that have high levels of micronutrients. Foods high in water content are also optimal. This is literally ascension food, okay? What I just mentioned. Fresh foods grown in uncompromised soils having high levels of micronutrients. Foods high in water content are also optimal. This is ascension food. And I have included a PDF inside this PDF that lets you know what micronutrients are, where to find them in the most bioavailable state. Meaning, sure, you can take supplements. That's great. I know a lot of people who eat absolute shit, but take a handful of supplements every day. And you got to wonder, okay, well, is that really helping? And without good food to actually digest all of these supplements, you're probably just, leaching it out anyway through the urine or the fecal matter. It's not digesting. You're not getting any of these nutrients anyway. The most bioavailable way to get micronutrients and supplements is through food, through water, okay? And sometimes herb teas. So fresh, unprocessed foods with high micronutrient levels, high water content are the optimal fuel to not only maintain good health and vitality, but to also meet the demands of your evolving cellular structure, as it strongly is affected by increased photon belt activity. So the light emissions that I'm talking about here, the light frequencies and quotients hitting this planet, what are they? Okay, I'm talking about photon belt activity here, which is at an all-time high. The photon belt is a toric field, meaning a tube torus of energy. And if you need me to put a depiction of that visually in our group, I'll do that for you. But a tube torus of energy is something that has an assemblage point, an origination point, and then it goes up and out and reaches out and comes back in through below and back into the assemblage point and creates a current of energy. This is a toric field of energy that emanates out from Alcyone. That's what the photon belt is. Alcyone is also known as the Great Central Sun, and this is found in the Pleiades star system. We have huge pulses of light all the time hitting this planet now. This is the norm, okay? And what it's doing is it's shifting our cells from carbon-based structure to the pre-silicate structure. This is already happening, okay? But to the degree that we can hold these frequency changes is to the degree that we are helping it along by, guess what? Nutritionally supplementing this process in our physical body so that we can take this on without going into crisis in any physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual way. And this is laying the foundation for light body status, okay? Having your DNA activated is also accelerating this shift. So we already started with this shift by having your DNA activated, right? So let's talk about the nuts and bolts of this stuff. Chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a very interesting and wonderful substance. It is the substance that is responsible for the green pigmentation in plants, but it has a molecular structure that is identical to the human blood cell. Did you know that? Interestingly enough, chlorophyll is chemically similar in composition to that of human blood, except that the central atom in chlorophyll is actually magnesium. And the central atom in human blood is iron, okay? Which you need both of those in good supply for ascension. Chlorophyll has been seen to provide health benefits that are numerous. So it has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, wound healing properties. Some of the best known benefits: helps in the growth and the repair of tissues. It helps in neutralizing pollution that we breathe and take in every day. No one is immune on this planet to that right now. It efficiently delivers magnesium into the cells, helps the blood in carrying much needed oxygen to all the cells and tissues of the body. It's been seen to have a good potential in stimulating red blood cells to improve oxygen supply. I live up here in South Lake Tahoe. I'm at about 6,200 feet in elevation, and I often go hiking up to 8,000 feet or higher. When I take liquid chlorophyll before I do that hike, I'll just put a couple drops in my water. What it does is it stimulates the capillaries in my lungs to open up and take in more oxygen and have a better oxygen supply in my lung capacity. So I feel like I can go on that hike and not be compromised. It's been seen to have good potential in stimulating red blood cells to improve oxygen supply. I just mentioned that. It's found in assimilating, chelating calcium and other heavy minerals. So just by the foods that we eat, the air that we breathe, sometimes the water that we drink, if we're not drinking filtered, unfiltered tap water, we're taking in heavy minerals. So chlorophyll has a chelating property, meaning it kind of binds these together so that we can flush them out of the body, okay? And heavy minerals in the body, when they collect in the body, can create all sorts of absorption problems with other trace minerals that we do need, or other micronutrients that we do need. It kind of blocks our ability to absorb other things that our body is asking for. Chlorophyll is also an effective deodorizer, reduces bad breath, urine, fecal waste, and body odor. It reduces the ability of carcinogens to bind with the DNA in different major organs of the body, especially the liver and the kidneys, okay? This is just a few of the benefits. The other thing I want to talk about, the pineal gland. Really, really important to understand the pineal gland's role, as a physical gland in the body, but how it is this bridge between your spiritual body and your lower physical, more dense body. It has many, many uses and activities, abilities to transform your physical human body and density to your more spiritual body, or to hold the more of your essence of spiritual body in integrity. So besides regulating sleep patterns and sexual development, the pineal gland has the ability to connect us to other dimensions like the dream world, spiritual realms such as deep meditation, astral travel, and during near-death experiences through the release of DMT. Dimethyltryptamine, I think I said that right, dimethyltryptamine. It's a psychedelic compound, okay? And it's part of the tryptamine family. This is the same compound that is found in ayahuasca, okay? And this is a very strong hallucinogen that's taken to induce trance states, deep healing sometimes, in guided shamanic journeys, etc. And it occurs naturally in trace amounts in mammals, where it functions as a neurotransmitter. And it is produced in humans. So the fact that it's produced naturally in humans would suggest that we are truly meant to be visionary beings, okay? Able to tap into the information of other dimensions. This dimensional perception transcends the ego. It has the ability to rapidly heal our suffering and conflict, introduced by the illusion of 3D reality, meaning we can reconcile a lot of our trauma of 3D reality when this, let's just say, neurotransmitter is active within us, okay? This dimensional perception transcends the ego. It has the ability to rapidly heal our suffering and conflict, introduced by being in 3D reality. It opens the door to resolve karma and soul contracts on many different planes of existence. So when you are cleaning up the pineal gland, meaning decalcifying it, when you're decalcifying the pineal gland, you are fortifying it, and you're making it very useful for those, for developing, let's just say, multidimensional perception and doing spiritual work in different states of awareness. So the things that can compromise the pineal gland and have compromised the pineal gland are fluoridated tap water, processed foods, excessive amounts of calcium, eating foods polluted or contaminated with mercury, This all contributes to the calcification of the pineal gland, and it should be avoided. So I have a whole list of things that you might want to consider, changing in your diet, including excessive consumption of caffeine or alcohol. This compromises the pineal gland. Helping it would mean eating raw, clean proteins, helping the body, again, run on cleaner fuel. In doing that, you'll just feel lighter anyway, more spiritually connected to ascended realms when you eat lighter. You feel less sluggish in your own energy. Your physical body has an overall vibration of its own, master cell integrity, that goddess essence incarnate, which is how you were meant to be running the biological system of you. You're better able to integrate light transmissions coming into your awareness with a lot more comfort. Read less ascension symptoms, okay? And even fluoride toothpaste. You might want to get rid of that. There are a lot of great toothpastes on the market now that don't have to have fluoride in them. Bottom feeding fish, if you're a fish eater, mercury is found in high doses in tuna especially. Cooking with Teflon is something you may want to eliminate. There are so many great pans that you can get on the market that are made of copper, that conduct heat, through stainless steel, that don't have Teflon coating. Teflon definitely contributes, and there's, some studies that say it may even contribute to things like Alzheimer's, but also cognitive dysfunction. So get rid of Teflon. Anything you got with Teflon, get rid of it. Conventionally grown fruits and vegetables, they're usually heavily laden with pesticides, especially berries, okay? If you are a wine drinker, start consuming organic wine instead, okay? But you may want to keep your alcohol and caffeine consumption down, because that does affect that pineal gland also. And then I have a whole list of things that help you naturally detox the pineal gland. Hold on here. I have been eating Sonic corn dogs. Yum! Maybe you want to limit that. Here's the thing, folks. I am not trying to tell you to, go into a monastery high up in Tibet and, completely, detach from all the things that bring you comfort and ease and joy in your life. But what I'm inviting you to do is start thinking about where you can start making a few changes here and there, because it really does add up. And like I said, once you start noticing the physical and the cognitive changes, okay, the cognitive changes are huge. When I started making a very nutrient-dense protein shake every morning, I used to be, I would eat eggs and biscuits in the morning, sometimes bacon, and I would usually have heavy breakfast. That's just how I grew up. And that actually, I realized, was like a comfort food. And it was me reaching for comfort in the morning to start my day. But when I stopped doing that and I started eliminating carbs from my morning diet and heavy foods from my morning diet, and I had a nutrient-dense protein shake, and I'll give you guys my recipe if you want it. I love it. This is what I have every morning. It gives me fuel to do the things that I need to do throughout the day. I don't feel hungry. I don't crave sugar as much as I used to. I dropped a lot of weight. My metabolism shifted. Full disclosure, I'm going through menopause, so metabolism changes are the norm. Cortisol levels used to be high. Depression levels went down. My sleep improved. I didn't feel, sluggish, or that 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock kind of like energy deficit. That's gone. A lot of things changed for me, and I was able to achieve more levels of heightened awareness during meditative states, which I really started to notice shifting. So yeah, think about that stuff. Aluminum-free deodorant, absolutely, absolutely, great recommendation. So other things to benefit the pineal gland that I mentioned, and I do mention a lot of nutritional supplements that you can use to clean up the pineal gland, but you may want to consider doing a liver cleanse, and I'm going to talk about the liver. Doing a healthy sauna, sweat lodge, I know that's not something that we can do right now in a COVID world that we're living in, but I'm considering buying one of those outdoor saunas, to be honest. You can buy them as a kit and put them together, and it fits 2 people, and I'm seriously thinking about that. And in Tahoe, it's a lovely way to be outside in the wintertime. Anyway, I digress. But a healthy sauna, anything where you can do a healthy sweat, a vigorous walk is very helpful. That does benefit your pineal gland. Also, sleeping in complete darkness. So sleeping without any lights for 6 to 8 hours per night, you know, maybe not sleeping next to your electromagnetic equipment, you know, maybe having your iPhone not right next to your bed, not right next to your head. You can buy these amber vision glasses that if you are a nighttime reader before you go to bed, it actually kind of triggers the melatonin in your body, but it also helps the pineal gland to process information before you go to bed. That electronic clocks or electronic interference may interfere with the pineal gland being able to process certain information, energies before you go to bed. And I have some information in the PDF about that. Some studies have shown that radiation from cell phones can be harmful to the pineal gland as well. And I have a link to an article about that. The liver. The liver is the master organ. It assists in many of the functionings of the other organs of the body. It has over 500 different functions in what it does for the body. And it can be completely regenerated very quickly. The liver is an amazing, amazing organ. And when the liver is cleansed and toxins are removed, one notices a host of benefits that include increased energy levels, better cognitive functioning, weight loss, better overall metabolism. And I've included some simple ways to cleanse the liver in this PDF that you can start right now. But I also encourage you that if you want to do a bigger liver cleanse, that I do liver cleanses 3 times a year. So every 4 months. And this is an incredible help for me. And I just do a 5-day cleanse. If you want to know what that is, or if you want to know the book that I use, if you want some recommendations, feel free to ask me, okay? Silica. Silica is a natural compound, and it's found all around us in nature, okay? Silica makes up over 1/4 of the planet's crust, and it can be found in most rocks, clays, and sands. And before the soils of the earth were compromised or leached of vital minerals and trace nutrients, due to over farming and pesticide use, this trace mineral was a natural part of our diets, okay? This important trace element was historically considered to be more harmful than helpful to our health. But that's because there are a lot of different kinds of silica, silicates, silicon. For example, it's known that when certain types of silica, silicates, silicon, when it's inhaled in its crystalline form, it can cause serious lung disease, okay? But silica comes in many, many forms, okay? And there's lots of evidence that in its water-soluble form, which is found in certain plants, including the herb horsetail, this is highly beneficial to our health. And traditionally, horsetail has been used to treat wounds, strengthen connective tissue, support the kidneys. But ingesting silica through the foods that we eat, especially high water content foods with silica, this helps the cells to evolve from their current carbon-based matrix structure to silicate matrix structure. Okay, so think the more silica that you ingest and make bioavailable through the foods that you eat. I'm not really encouraging you to take a silica or silicon supplement. You can buy liquid trace mineral supplements that'll have silica in it. That's different, but taking silica on its own, it's too much for the body. And again, it's about what is bioavailable, meaning how your body will take it in the highest and best integrity without rejecting it or causing any cascade of symptoms that you have to then correct because you've took too much of it. So foods that contain silica, I have a whole list of things that contain silica, including some teas. You can take horsetail herb tea, you can have nettle leaf tea. If you like to eat dandelion greens, lightly sauteed, or you can even drink dandelion tea, those are all great natural sources of silica, okay? Cucumbers, tomatoes. Micronutrients and electrolytes. Maintaining your brain, the muscle, the bones, the nerves, the skin, blood circulation, the immune system, your body requires, in order to maintain the health of all these, your body requires a steady supply of many different raw materials, both macronutrients and micronutrients. You need large amounts of macronutrients, which would be proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, okay? And while you only need a small number of micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, trace minerals, failing to get those small qualities can virtually guarantee disease, okay? I wish that at this time, especially with COVID happening, that there was more of a focus on prevention, that there was more of a focus on nutrition. But until we tip that paradigm towards a sick care system, towards a healthcare system in this country and in the world, we are going to be told to keep wearing masks and keep staying away from each other instead of, hey, here's how we bulk up the immune system. Here's how we increase vitality. Here's how we, make sure that we have all the micronutrients that we need to virtually guarantee that we don't get dis-ease in the body. That's not going to happen. Sorry, not right away. We are, at the mercy of a government and many companies that would like to benefit from disease. They don't benefit from prevention, okay? So if you're still thinking that, you have a government that's telling you the highest and best way to take care of yourself so you don't get sick, please think again. Please wake up because there is no benefit financially in keeping us healthy. There, I said it, okay? So we have to be able to find this information for ourselves. We have to do our own research. We have to be our own best advocates for our health. Don't expect your government or the healthcare system to do that for you. Okay. These micronutrients, and I have a list shared by the Linus Pauling Institute. These micronutrients are vital for optimizing the restructuring process that the physical body must undergo in order to prepare for ascension. Okay. So I've listed some with this PDF that I shared in here. There's some micronutrients and accompanying food sources that are highly recommended for you to start weaving them into your dietary influx. Start weaving that into the things that you create as meals for your family. Okay, you can be stealthy at first, just kind of bring it in little waves, and then start adding more and more. Okay. We are living on a planet where we have the benefit of lots of different seasonings, lots of different ways that we can take things that maybe aren't that tasty and make them really tasty. With the inclusion of things like turmeric, which is actually really good for the liver. That's a great way to, add some spice to your foods that might be very tasty, and put in some black pepper in there, which optimizes the bioavailability of turmeric. You can make a tasty dish out of a lot of different things, okay? Especially legumes, lentils are really good for the body. When I talk about the foods that contain silica, whole grains like oat bran and whole grain oats, those are things that are kind of bland. But when you add things, like cinnamon actually improves cognitive functioning. It boosts the metabolism. Just having a sprinkling of cinnamon on oats, talk about comfort food. Oh my God, it's so yummy. And as the weather gets colder here, it's a great time to introduce those things that, not only make you feel comfortable, but are also giving you fuel for the body and are nutrient dense at the same time. Those things do not have to be mutually exclusive, okay? We are seeing, a barrage of commercials on TV. Those of you who still have TV and haven't cut the cord, I wish I could cut the cord on that to TV. But what are you seeing on TV right now? Tons of commercials for prescription medicine and takeout food, right? Everything is about, having Domino's pizza being delivered to your house. Let's make it nice and easy for you to eat crap, right? And when you have people locked into their homes, a lot of people are still, observing travel bans where they live. A lot of people are still, kind of staying homebound because they're worried about COVID. And they have the magic electronic box in front of them telling them, oh, but you feel depressed, don't you? You feel lonely, don't you? Well, take this prescription medicine, take this medication, you'll feel better. Ask your doctor about it. Get on this program, take this prescription drug. It is, again, a system that is designed to keep you out of power with your own say-so about your health, to keep you thinking like there's got to be something wrong with me that this pill can take care of. And I feel terrible. Wouldn't it make me feel better if I ordered a Domino's pizza and they delivered it right to my front doorstep? Think about this stuff. pull back often on everything that is coming at you in terms of information and look at the bigger picture of what's happening, okay? I digress. Micronutrients and electrolytes. So I talked about micronutrients, electrolytes, and then I'm going to open it up for questions in a minute after I do the DNA encodement. Electrolytes are really important because they balance the pH of the body. So when we think about the lack of integrity we may have had in our body system over time, we are going more towards the acid side in our body. Certain foods are acid inducing. A lot of foods are acid inducing in our diet. So what electrolytes do is brings the body up towards being slightly more alkaline in nature. This also allows the body to have the fuel it needs to move from carbon-based to pre-silicate matrix biological structure. And an electrolyte is a compound, any compound that is in solution. It conducts electricity and is decomposed or electrolyzed by the electricity. So the ions that exist that create negative and positive polarization in the body, ions that are existing in a liquid state are electrolytes. And ionic compounds exist as crystals rather than molecules. And they are dissolved in the fluids of the human body, and this creates salts, cell salts, okay? The ionic bonds of that help to create cell salts. So this gives strength to the tissues of the human body. It increases cellular integrity, okay? Electrolytes have many important functions in the body. Water management functions in the body as hydration. It produces nerve impulses, again, creating that electrical charge and communication between the nerves and neural connections. It's essential for muscle function, electrolytes. It transports nutrients to the cell, maintains blood pH levels. It supports mental functioning, cognitive functioning. There's a whole list of other things that it does. But staying well hydrated with as much pure filtered water, maybe even reverse osmosis water as possible, supplementing with electrolytes can be very helpful for your ascended human status. Sodium, chloride, potassium, those are the big three electrolytes, okay? They're found in the foods that we eat. If you start including some of the foods that I recommend in here, you're going to get your electrolytes. But you can also implement other excellent sources. Coconut water is a natural source of electrolytes, okay? Coconut water, coconut juice. Lemon-infused water with a pinch of Himalayan salt. It's a great way to get your electrolytes. Watermelon water. You can also use a supplement that you can buy on Amazon. It's called Natural Calm. That is a magnesium supplement. The last thing, grounding the body. Very, very important. The body's trillions of cells require an ongoing interaction with Earth's electromagnetic field and pulsing energies. The human body needs, and your DNA, needs physical contact with the ground. Earth's energies are the foundation of your body's own energy, and it's fueled by the planet's energy system and fields, okay? When we think about the magnetosphere of this planet, it is what allows us to create DNA signals to each other, to the planet, to the entire human family with integrity. When they first started sending astronauts out into space, their body systems started to progressively deteriorate. When they moved out of the Earth's magnetosphere, the DNA stopped signaling properly. The body system started to shut down. And when they made this connection, it's because the DNA is so intrinsically intertwined with the DNA of this planet. A whole host of things will start to break down in the body, okay? You'll progressively deteriorate. You'll start to go mad, okay? Because cognitive functioning is one of the first things to go, okay? But it messes with the blood. It messes with the oxygen levels in the blood. A whole host of things start to happen when we move out of the Earth's magnetosphere or the magnetic field of this planet. The magnetic field of this planet is very important and vital to us as ascending humans because we're going to ascend with this planet. That's why as the higher light quotients are hitting this planet, we are experiencing the benefits or the deficits of that. Because let's just say sometimes we have solar flares that hit this planet and they affect the electric and the electromagnetic signatures here. That's going to reflect in us every single time, okay? And there are things that are happening with, let's just say, the Earth's electromagnetic pulsations that are out of integrity. We have a lot of military and corporate enterprises. We're going to talk about 5G, talk about sonar, that are affecting things on this planet that are taking the Earth's natural electromagnetic resonance out of integrity. This is also always going to affect us. But grounding your energy as often as you can, moving your body with exercise, physical activity while making contact with the ground is vital. It's there, that connection is there to refresh the body, refresh the mind, and your emotional states. So it's also a good idea to ground your energy whenever doing any spiritual work, okay? So I've included a PDF of grounding and energy protecting techniques that you guys can review. So I'm gonna go through this DNA encodement. So, and I should have mentioned, please bring water to every class because you're gonna process a lot of information in every class. You probably get a sense of that right now. Probably going to go for another 15 minutes here. So if anyone needs to sign off, I totally get it. Take a couple of deep breaths. It's also our hygiene products, hair products, makeup soaps, cleaning products. So many ways our bodies can be compromised. And the air that we breathe, let's be honest. And I'm so sorry I didn't see Ursa. I'm going to take off the admit button so that you guys can just enter right away. I don't know why it defaulted to that. So take a couple deep breaths. Call in your higher self if you haven't done that already. Just kind of loosen up your body. You know, this is a lot of information to take in, and sometimes we clench up in our bodies. So release any tension in the jaw, in the neck, shoulders. Roll your shoulders back, open up the heart space. This is a gesture of receiving. You can feel free to lie down for the DNA encodements if you'd like. So what are DNA encodements? It's like tapping into the sequence of DNA strands that unlocks a deeper knowing of instruction sets that are already part of your DNA, and that makes them more usable in the body. Becomes more of your conscious awareness and operating process in your daily life and activities, okay? So what we're doing is we're preparing for light body status with these DNA encodements and sequences. So it enhances and upgrades your vibration in order to hold and anchor more light for your own individuated consciousness, but it also serves to upgrade the entire social memory complex, or the memory grid, let's just say, of the entire collective consciousness. Because we have things coming to light about our human history that are already encoded in our DNA template that are going to be more and more disclosed over time. Things about who we really are. You know, our historical, accurate human history that has been veiled to us or been forgotten. A lot of that stuff is going to be disclosed more and more. And this helps you assimilate that information without rejecting it. So these DNA encodements and number sequences, they're really like commands for DNA code changes to take place in the body. What it does is it unlocks and unwinds your DNA that's already encrypted, like I said, with the instruction sets of your ascension blueprint, allowing you to move beyond the carbon-based physical body structure and shift to the lighter silica-based crystalline matrix body, or the light body, okay? So these are number sequences. The number 9 you're going to find is a very important number. We have 9 modules. You're going to say these DNA encodements 9 times, okay? I'm going to say this to you 9 times. When you go back and want to repeat this number sequence, you want to always say it 9 times, okay? And you can run through it very fast. So this particular DNA encodement 1, for station 1, is unraveling or unwinding the DNA of available energy in the body. You have so much available energy in the body that has yet been untapped. What this does is it kind of unlocks, unwinds this encodement through a number sequence, okay? This is the available energy complex sequence. It's reclaiming the blueprint of your master cell to allow more available energy in the body to be usable now. Okay, so take a deep breath in. All you have to do is listen. You don't have to do anything. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. 10-3-5-5-4-8-4-2-1967. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and out. Just notice any shifts or changes in the body. Anything that feels uncomfortable or collected or tight or clustered in the body. Ask your spiritual team, your higher self, to send pure diamond light there to break up those clusters. We ask that these commands unravel, unwind, unlock the available energy complex in the master cell for the highest and best good of all present, and so it is. Thank you. And just notice how you feel. This is going to process over time, integrate over time. Just let that be whatever it is. You're going to want to keep a journal for this program. Record your dreams. Be aware in waking lucid states of information just coming into you. It may sound like your own voice. It may seem like a tone or a frequency. You may hear ringing or buzzing in your ears. This is normal. You may feel heaviness kind of just randomly, instantaneously departing from the body. Maybe where you've had tension or tightness in the body over time, incorrections, imbalances in the body over time, you may feel a heaviness there just kind of leaving, just kind of dissipating, okay? Be in honor and gratitude of this process taking hold in the way that is highest and best aligned for your timeline of release and upgrade, because that's how this is happening. Just like when you had your DNA activation, okay? So I'm going to stop the recording here, and then I'm going to open it up for any questions you guys may have at all, and you can just feel free to unmute yourselves. So I'm going to end this recording here. Thank you all. We'll see you in module 2, or I should say station 2, when we're going to talk about preparing the foundation for coming into greater service with others, understanding use of universal laws, and receiving DNA encodement 2. Okay.